So John Bose here, State Committee in the western part of the state with a candidate who is running for the DNC, Ed Collins. Can I call you Ed? Is that okay?
Sure can.
So Ed, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Ed Collins. I'm a member of the Democratic State Committee for, 28 years, I guess.
Wow.
On a ballot seat. Always been a member on a ballot seat. And I am a 49-year member of the IBEW. 28 years as an international representative, and 16 years before that as a business manager and financial secretary of Local 455 out here in Springfield. Been active in the Democratic Party even before going on the state committee. Seems like it's been my whole life. I was trying to think earlier today, knowing I was going to do this, when my first political campaign was, and I think it was about 9. My dad was a school committee man in Springfield, and I worked on his campaigns, and I don't know how much work I really did, but I think he was trying to break all his kids in to be excited.
Start early.
Yeah, be excited about and active in politics, and it worked with all of us. And then he ran for governor's council unsuccessfully. It was his last campaign. But even after that, he ran mayoral campaigns in Springfield for several years,
cool.
and always engaged all of us in it. So, it's been my whole life, really. I've been active as a Democrat.
Now, you've been active not only in the party, but also in the labor movement.
Right, yep. As I say, most of my working life has been as a full-time labor official. I come out of the U.S. Navy and went to work in a power plant in West Springfield, which is where I joined the IBEW. And within a couple of years after becoming a member, just about 3 years, I was recording secretary of the local and then president. And at 27, I was elected to a full-time job as the business manager, financial secretary.
Okay.
And I've been working for the IBEW in one capacity or another ever since.
Now, the trades have changed and gone through a lot of dramatic pressure from, for lack of a better word, scabs. Where do you think we're going? Are we in trouble? Or are we?
We are in trouble. We're in serious trouble, and have been for a long time. It has a lot to do with me wanting to be involved at the national level with the Democratic Party, because for at least 30 years and arguably 40 years, we have followed a path where under Republican administrations, the labor movement is under full-fledged attack. And we usually hunker down and manage to come out of it bloody, bruised, and having lost some ground, but still here. And under Democratic administrations, going back at least to Clinton's administration, the beatings stop and the attacks stop, but we never seem to make up the lost ground that helped this labor movement of ours, along with the cooperation of government through the New Deal and the Great Society, to build a middle class. And there doesn't seem to be really since the Reagan years, there doesn't seem to be the commitment on the part of the Democratic Party to recognize just what a valuable ally the labor movement is.
I always point out to my friends who are anti-labor that they can thank the labor unions for weekends.
Yep, that fits on a bumper sticker too. So
it's an important thing. So my grandmother was a shop steward at AT&T during the whole crisis they went through, and I can tell you that really we owe a lot to the unions.
Yep.
Now, you've been in the party for a long time. Favorite campaign?
Oh boy, I wasn't prepared for that one. I've had so many great
You've seen
ones,
some really great ones,
and a lot of winners and a lot of losers. And I have to say that probably I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
Probably my favorite winning campaign was Obama's first campaign.
Right. Okay.
I got a tie for my favorite losing campaign. Ted Kennedy in 1980.
Oh, that was a tough one.
Which I was the co-chair of the Western Massachusetts Draft Kennedy Committee, which only held one meeting, by the way, because the day after we filled the ballroom of the Hotel Kimball in Springfield, Ted announced that he was running.
He's in.
So the draft committee
You did it.
disbanded and turned all our contacts over to his official campaign. But the other one, I think, would be Tom Harkin's unsuccessful primary campaign in '92. I think I had more fun on that campaign. I believe so much in the candidate, and I spent every moment that I could in New Hampshire working on that campaign. So it's hard to separate the Kennedy one and the Harkin one.
Well, the thing about it is that we are so many times the volunteers.
Yep.
We're not actually getting paid,
Right.
and it's the personal relationships
Yep.
that really make the bond and make it worth
Yep.
doing. Now, you're going to be taking over our now chair, Gus Bickford, who stepped down. So he was elected to a 4-year term.
Right.
You're only going to get to serve 3 of them.
Right.
Nationally, in Washington, there's a lot of things going on. People are getting very nervous, very frustrated. There's a lot of distaste and unhappiness with the DNC. In your opinion, 3 things that you think the DNC needs to fix.
First and foremost, they have to do a introspective, honest assessment of where they are and what went wrong, and there needs to be, and it'll be a painful exercise.
Right.
But I really think, without repeating everything I said before about where I think that things got off the track over the last 30 years, they have to really come to some sort of an understanding of why they are losing and have been steadily losing the support of average blue-collar voters. And that's the number one thing they have to fix.
So a gut check.
Yeah, and that's not going to be easy because, as you probably have heard already, that's not an easy conversation to have with all the constituency groups within the party, because some people want to paint that as a false choice between, standing for the values that we clearly stand for, the interest of immigrants and minorities. They try to juxtapose that against the interest of blue-collar workers. It's a false choice.
It's the same thing.
It's an absolute false choice.
Yeah.
It is the same thing. We saw some real evidence of that in the early stages of Bernie Sanders' campaign this year, when he was actually attacked by certain groups for basically trying to craft an economic message that they felt was not inclusive of them, when it was.
Yeah. So second item.
Second item. Okay. So we in certain states, but let me back up a step and say, those who say that we need to focus on a 50-state strategy are correct, and I'm all for that. But our capacity to do that is not the same in every state. So the second item is really to try to figure out where the soft spots are, and those states that, for all kinds of reasons, some of them geographic, some of them low density of Democratic voters, or some combination of those things, or other factors, where our capacity to actually do a 50-state strategy is the weakest, and to work for the next 4 years to build that capacity.
So support them nationally, get the ground going,
Right.
get it built up.
That's it.
So places like New Hampshire can actually act on their own rather than have to rely on Massachusetts.
That's right. That should be the job of the state party, and every state party isn't equipped to do it as well as others, so we need to figure out where they are and build that capacity.
So third item.
So that's the first two, and the third is messaging, which kind of it bleeds into the first. We gave Hillary Clinton a very progressive, winning platform to run on, and I'm not going to say she totally ignored it, but it wasn't really what the campaign was about.
Right.
It was a winning message that could have put her over the top in at least 2 of the 3 states that she should not have lost, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. But the platform, A, was not talked about enough, and B, with all due respect to her, and I do respect her, she was not the candidate who could credibly make that argument because of so many years of having been associated with center-right Democratic leadership politics. So I even if she was as sincere as I think she very well may have been, she was not the messenger.
So 3 things. Number 1 is your gut check review of what we've been doing.
Right. Number 2 is building capacity to deliver 50 states. And number 3 is shaping and delivering that message that I think needs to be.
You're running for the seat.
I am.
People come up to you at the state party, wherever you're meeting them. Give me your elevator pitch. Why should they vote for you?
I think they should vote for me, A, because I have a long history and experience. It's not going to be an on-the-job learning experience for me. They should vote for me because I think I'm prepared to go there for the one term that I will have, and whether or not I would run for another term is a big question. But I want to be there in the center of that debate to reorientate this party. That's my mission, and I think it's the mission that needs to be carried out. I think I'm capable of doing it. I think I'm well connected in the labor movement, not just in this state, but nationally. They have to be part of that debate. I think I have a history in all of the work that I've done, both with the union and in politics more generally, of finding consensus among groups that don't always have the same agenda, and helping people to see and focus upon the things that we share and not the things that we differ over.
Okay.
I think I'm as equipped as anybody I know to do that at the national level.
Okay. Question for you. You got 3 years. You're going to be in Massachusetts representing us. What do you think personally you would like to, at the end of 3 years, look back and say, this is what we did? Or you did for the state?
That I played a part, because I won't do it myself, because
Right.
I can't. No one can do it themselves. That I played a role, a significant role, in supporting the next chairman. And by the way, my first choice would be Keith Ellison. Although I think Perez is a pretty decent guy who gets it. But whoever that next chairman is, and assisting that next chairman and doing that refocusing and reorientation of the party to prepare us for first the by-election, the midterm election in 2 years, and then the next presidential election. If I can have played a significant role in helping that happen, I will consider those to be 3 years well spent.
Well spent. How's the campaign trail been? I know it's tough.
It's okay. It's tough. It's very tough to reach people. I've been doing some phone calling. I've done a couple of emails to everybody. I'll be doing more phone calling. I'm not actually involved in another election at the same time.
Oh, jeez.
Because although I stepped away after 28 years and decided that since my pension is higher than my last year working, I should really take it and stop working for, that's been the case for a couple of years. But I am running for president of the Pioneer Valley Central Labor Council. Okay. Which is the local
that's
AFL
an important
affiliate
group.
And it's a job I did for 4 years in the past, and had to give it up because my assignments with the IBEW took me out of Western Mass so much. But I'm going to try to take that job back again. And so that election is next week. So I've been given that a little more focus than
this one.
Than the DNC one. But as soon as that's behind me on Wednesday, I'll be pretty near full time on the phones,
Now, I've been I've done 4 interviews already, and every one of them has said the phones have been tough.
Yeah, phones are tough.
It's not one phone call, it's a call and then a call back.
Yep.
And a lot of people are saying, and I think they're right, we're going through a little bit of a grieving process.
Yep. So and there's a lot of people who are not of a mind to talk about who's going to be the next DNC member or very much about politics. So it's a difficult time. You're right. I think that's what you meant by a grieving process. So it's a difficult time to be talking to people about it, and it's difficult to reach people on the phone. So you just have to keep hammering at it. Somebody
sees this video. We're going to put it out to the entire party. How do they get in touch with you? How do they get plugged in?
Well, I have a couple of email addresses. My personal one is ed3paula, ed, the number 3, Paula, at AOL.com.
Okay.
And there's also a Gmail account that is all lowercase, Democrat Ed Collins at gmail.com. They can use either of those. And my personal cell phone is area code 413-455-8800. They can feel free to call me at any time. So those are the easiest ways.
So we'll tell you what, we'll put it on the website.
Yep.
So anyone who wants to go and give shoot you an email with some questions, they can do that. Well, this is the second to last interview. Thank you so much. We're out in Western Mass. We braved the snow.
Yeah.
So to pull this off, guys. So we really do appreciate it. Ed, I think you're a great candidate.
Thank you very much, John.
Good luck with the election.
And thank you for doing this. This is a great service you're doing to the party.
Well, I want to introduce everyone.
Yeah.
We only get to see each other for what, maybe 3 hours once a month.
3 hours not even once a month, really. So,
yeah. So
yeah.
Consider Ed. I will put this on my website, and I will put all his contact information up there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and look for the videos on my website, bose3.com. If you have time, stop by my podcast on Facebook, which is facebook.com/bose3pod, Pod. So thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate it. Western Mass is always fun.
Thank you again, John. Drive slow going home.
Definitely.